What's up, y'all? I'm back with another video. It's invest in your culture, you know what I'm saying? Invest in your culture because somebody will. Culture pays. So look, man, I don't know too much about this guy, but I know he has power. You know what I'm saying? His name is Steve Bannon. Of course, he's been around forever, but he came into my world during the first Trump presidency when he became the advisor over his, I think he was like the advisor of his strategy. You know what I'm saying? He was the chief of his strategy. So that was when he first, I find out about Breitbart and find out about his views and everything like that. He's kind of done some wild stuff lately. You know what I'm saying? Like that interview with Jeffrey Epstein as if he was, you know what I'm saying? He did this interview before he died. They be trying to play with us like he ain't dead. And now, you know what I'm saying? He just said something where, you know what I'm saying? Like, it started off with something that you should agree with if you are American, but he kind of just let you know, like, hey, something's about to come. And I'm only doing this video because I always want you to keep your head on the swivel and know what's happening, you know what I'm saying? Let's see what Steve Bannon talking about, man.
We put a proposition on to galvanize people. That was to prohibit Sharia law in the state of Texas. Also to have, that's funny? Is that funny? Okay, fine. You're going to see how funny it is. We're prohibiting Sharia law in Texas, and we're going to shut down a lot of this nonsense that's going on. The next thing we're going to shut down is the H-1B visas. We're going to ban Sharia law in this country. We've already designated in Texas the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE as terrorist organizations, has many in the Gulf Emirates. So this is very serious.
So look. This is why it's crazy. Because it's like he has no political office. Remember, he was just a chief strategist for Trump. He went to jail for something. I don't even know why he went to jail. But he coming out talking about we gonna ban Sharia law in Texas. Now, if you don't know, in Texas, they do have a large Muslim population that, I don't know where all these people came from. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, we had the great immigration, during the what was that? The Biden administration. So for 4 years, we had a whole bunch of people just come over here unchecked. So, you know what I'm saying? Now they're living in Texas. And I've heard about this. They have cities that they've taken over where now they're trying to have Sharia law. If you don't know what Sharia law is, it's the law that Muslims live by. Afghanistan is ruled by Sharia law. And I'm going to just keep it 100 with you. You don't want to live under Sharia law, especially if you consider yourself a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Christians are taxed. You can be crucified under Sharia law. At the end of the day, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. It's kind of fishy how he talking about like he got some political office. It lets you know he got a little bit more pull and power than what you think. But at the end of the day, he's like, it should be prohibited. Like, if you're coming to a different country, you can't impose your own law. I can't go to Afghanistan and be like, boom, I'm about to just live by American laws, forget what y'all. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I agree with him, but the whole thing that's fishy is like, who is we? You know what I'm saying? What?
And I think when you said this a year ago, like you've got a choice between Steve Bannon and Luigi Mangione, I think people were kind of like pretty freaked out.
Whoa! Why? What is this? You see this? Why it look like he don't peed on himself? What's going on with Steve Bannon, man? Steve Bannon tripping, bro. He looked like he just woke up, bro.
They didn't know which one to choose, right?
I think people in Washington right now are much less worried that that's going to be the choice, and I wonder. And you say you think Republicans are gonna take the House. That's a very if you bet on that on Calcia Republicans, they're going to make a lot of money.
Look at John Cornyn. John Cornyn spent $80 million to $100 million, the same old playbook to destroy Ken Paxton. We went down to Texas with Gert Wilders and Glenn Beck in January. We had a proposition on the ballot. We put a proposition on to galvanize people. That was to prohibit Sharia law in the state of Texas, also to have, that's funny? Is that funny? Okay, fine. You're going to see how funny it is. We're prohibiting Sharia law in Texas, and we're going to shut down a lot of this nonsense is going on. The next thing we're going to shut down is the H-1B visas. People in the United States, citizens of this country, are not prepared to have this. You may think it's funny. Folks in Texas don't think it's funny. Folks in South Carolina don't think it's funny. And this is that seething anger right below the surface. Because the global elites, you sit there and mock these people like they don't count, like African Americans don't count, working class Hispanics don't count, working class whites don't count. That is the backbone of this country. And trust me, that is a latent political power that is being turned into a political power. So no, we're going to ban Sharia law in this country. We've already designated in Texas the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE as terrorist organizations, has many in the Gulf Emirates. So no, this is very serious. We got 2 million votes on that proposition and galvanized the Paxton team to actually now lead, I think, Cornyn by 8% with no money. Cornyn spent $80 to $100 million. Lindsey Graham, right now, the globalist, is under 50% in South Carolina. So the populist movement, when you look at really victories we can have, is more powerful than ever, and it's only going to get more powerful over time. So laugh all you want, but he who laughs last laughs best. And the people in this country are not going to tolerate what you stand for.
Wow. That's he kept it real with them. He wasn't playing no games. But I mean, shoot, he was talking like we the elites. Like, no, we are not no elites. Now, and it's funny because it's like this guy knows the elites. You feel me? Like we already can tell. You remember he was Trump's chief strategist. Now, you know what he's talking about. It is true. Like a lot of people who's laughing and everything like that. It's probably people who like look at this thing as a surface level thing. Like if you know what Sharia law is, it has no place in America. It's a cruel laws. Like anything where you can be crucified, no. You know what I'm saying? People don't realize that, and people were laughing just like, oh, you know, you shouldn't persecute Muslims, blah blah blah. You know, everybody has their own reasons or whatever. But a lot of these people do not like America. You know what I'm saying? Even how you talked about shutting down like these visas. A lot of people are coming to America in spite of America. You know what I'm saying? And looking to turn us against ourselves, which is actually happening. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going. We'll see what you're talking about, man.
Stand for the destruction of this country, the sovereignty of this nation, and you look for the destruction of American citizens. The system that is going to come in place is not simply America first. It's American citizens first. American citizens have to have a better deal than any foreigners here. They have to have a better deal than any illegal alien. And that day is coming.
Whoa.
I think a lot of
that's the thing though. What system? What is it? Like, bro, this dude just told us about the New World Order at a freaking at a press conference. And it's like he said it, you know what I'm saying? Like he really said it sternly. Like he not playing when he's saying this. He not, like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no joke, ain't no maybe. He said, yes, watch what happens. I mean, I always, like I said, man, I do these things to kind of keep you ahead, keep you motivated, keep you inspired. You know what I'm saying? I never want you to live in fear. Never live in fear. But just be ready, because something's about to happen. I don't know what it's going to be like. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like, you know, they will create an event and create chaos just to, you know, bring in the order. So him saying that, this new system ain't going to come without no chaos before it. You know what I'm saying? So be prepared for the chaos.
Your fights have been inside the right, the ones that you're talking about, the Texas primary, but you also have some sort of, I think, are building some unusual coalitions, and I'm specifically thinking about AI. What are you kind of hearing and feeling from the base about artificial intelligence and about the big AI companies?
The American people have turned off about it. Look what happened in New Mexico. Well, first off, you talk about populism. Look at what's happened in the trial yesterday with Live Nation. First time in 45 years at a jury trial The little guy stood up and said, "You're an illegal monopoly, you have to be broken up." Look what happened in New Mexico with Meta. It was a 4 or 5 week trial that took an hour to determine, and in Los Angeles, where the little guy gets a voice and a vote. He votes against everything you guys stand for, and particularly these out of control AI companies. Right now, we stopped the amnesty bill preemption in the big beautiful bill. We stopped it again in the NDAA, the must pass. The White House came out with their framework. I think that's already shattered. David Sachs essentially relieved for cause for not delivering. And this is a coalition of the left and the right. And quite frankly, the right is now just starting to stand, not the leaders of the right, but people in these states. Ron DeSantis, very smart person, yesterday said, "I'm calling a special session to bring people back to essentially decelerate artificial intelligence." They can't use the excuse we've had a Sputnik moment against the Chinese Communist Party. That's the fear. We cut the chips off. I don't care what NVIDIA wants to do.
Just cut it back. Why are people upset about AI?
Because first off, the damage it's doing to kids, what it's doing to the country, what it's doing to jobs, but most importantly, it's like mythos. When we had nuclear power, right? You remember from the Oppenheimer movie, you had the Atomic Energy Commission. You had some sort of least modicum of a regulatory apparatus. These oligarchs want absolutely no control. They are radical accelerationists. And we know now from mythos that they're the first guys to say, "Hey, look, this thing is out of control. We can't even put it out." So we have to have controls of artificial intelligence. We cannot just be accelerationists. And that means some modicum of regulatory control. Right now in this city, they are plotting with Speaker Johnson to, I think, since they've lost 3 times, to take a preemption bill that preempts all state regulations and to put it in a must-pass legislation. I think they're going to try to do it in reconciliation and try to do the Save America Act. So to say to the right, "Oh, you guys want to make sure that there's no..."
We're going to get more into them, but like one of the things I want to talk about, because this is like a term that's really, really been popping up, is accelerationists. You know what I'm saying? There are people who are just, it's some things where you can be accelerationist, like how he's talking about AI accelerationist, who's trying to just get AI to its peak the fastest way possible. You know what I'm saying? When I hear accelerationist, I hear about these people who have these hate groups who are really trying to accelerate the end of society as we know it, you know what I'm saying, and be able to be on top of it, you know what I'm saying, once it comes to fruition. You know what I'm saying? AI acceleration, you already seen how it is, like the acceleration of AI is putting a lot of people out of jobs. So yes, it needs to be, you know what I'm saying, regulated. I get what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's just one of the things. Like I understand that, like what he's saying, like a lot, and he's calling them oligarchs because at the end of the day, like people like Elon Musk, you know what I'm saying, a person like Bill Gates, people like Mark Zuckerberg, they have so much wealth, and yes, they don't want to be told what to do. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the beauties of being an entrepreneur. People really can't tell you what to do, except the government. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you abide by what the government says, hey, you got to do it. And, you know, you already see, like, how they're doing things. This government in this state is saying, hey, we want you to pay more. They go to the other state, and the other state makes them pay less and gives them money to just be there. You know what I'm saying? So I hear what the homie's talking about with the accelerations movement. I still can't get over his man's pants. But what's crazy is, like, this guy is really talking as like the spokesperson of the shadow government. Remember, he has no official title. He's not a politician. He's not a politician or anything. He's just a chief strategist. Has this amazing website that brings in a lot of views. A lot of views. You know what I'm saying? Hey, support me like that. Investinyourculture.com. Check me out. Buy some of my merch. But come on, let's keep talking. See what Steve Bannon talking about.
No more way to cheat. You're going to have to take AI. That's not going to work. AI behind the scenes with the populist right is, I think, actually right next to immigration, our top issue. And people are galvanized by this. And you see DeSantis, as smart as he is, really calling back for a special session to deal with it.
Do you think in Anthropic's conflict with the Department of War, do you think Anthropic had it right?
I think Anthropic had it right. I think Anthropic, it's very, very complicated. I really respect Pete Hegseth. We were the leaders of getting Pete confirmed, our show. I have tremendous respect for them over there. But I think in this situation, right, it's almost too dangerous. And I think we have to then have it coming together about it. That's why you need a sort of atomic energy commission. You need some sort of modicum of regulatory, not just about the kids, the chat GPTs and the suicides. That's bad enough. It's terrible. Not just about our copyright holders pay for. But the central thing is what is happening in the weapons lab with AI. We have no earthly idea. Mythos Review just gets dropped on you. You have no earthly idea what's going on. We can't do that. And we cannot particularly turn it over to Elon Musk and Meta. And you saw what a jury, when a jury had a shot at Zuckerberg, you saw what they did. That's only going to get worse. We have to come together and figure this out. And you can't jam people by putting it into a must-pass
We're almost out of time, but a final question is, J.D. Vance heir to the MAGA movement? Is he the heir apparent?
I don't think MAGA has President Trump. And as you know, I'm a huge advocate of President Trump's third term. So right now, I think...
You're not just saying that to mess with JD?
No, not at all. I think you guys all paid your taxes here yesterday. Are there anyone in the room who would not vote for President Trump and what he's trying to do with this economy?
Wow. Look, y'all. He just said it, bro. I'm just amazed. I wasn't ready for all this. He just said President Trump's third term. Whoa. Like I said, man, this guy had way more power than what y'all think he is. Y'all don't know who this man is. I have slowly but surely known what he is. You know what I'm saying? I understand what's coming. You feel me? I ain't scared of it. You know what I'm saying? I sidestep all of it. You feel me? It's because I stay informed. I know what's up. You know what I'm saying? I don't let these things prohibit me. At the end of the day, they create the problem and provide the solution to create the order. That's all it is. Be prepared for the chaos that they gonna create. And I bet you it's gonna be with the third term. The third term is gonna create chaos. I'm already seeing that. We might have a civil war. You know what I'm saying? Because of that. But hey, go to investingyourculture.com to watch the rest of this video. You know, so I'm gonna put the long form out there. I didn't know this was just a clip. But check me out, investingyourculture.com, you know what I'm saying? It's your boy Raylo. Check you out in another one, man. Peace.